Welcome to the International English Language Testing System taking place on Thursday, the 28th of September 2023. The candidate is Samia Jaman. The candidate number is S1202224 and the examiner is Radia Khan Tapti. The examiner number is S120222005. Good evening.
Good evening.
How have you been?
I have been great.
Can I see your identification card, please? Thank you so much. Here it is. What's your full name, please?
My full name is Samia Jaman.
What should I call you?
You may call me Samia, please.
Okay, Samia, where are you from?
I am from Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Alright. Samia, are you a student or do you work?
I am a 7th standard student in Manipur High School and College.
How do you usually pass your free time?
As I am a 7th standard student in Manipur High School and College, which is really popular in Bangladesh, or you can say in Dhaka. So I definitely have a pretty tight schedule. For that I really don't have much leisure time, but whenever I have it, I usually take some rest or maybe a sleep so that I can gain energy to work or study later.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color has been changed a lot since my childhood, but if I talk about the current one, it can be red because I guess red represents power and energy to me. So as I've already said that I have a pretty tight schedule, I have to study a lot. So I guess this is why I can choose red as my favorite color.
What's your favorite food, Samia?
I have a lot of favorite foods. If I talk about a really popular street food in Bangladesh, that is fuchka, I really love that. But in case of favorite, I would definitely choose some comfortable foods such as rice, lentils, and I love chicken. I am a big fan of chicken and I have to have it every single meal. Every single meal of the day. So I can say that rice, lentils, and chicken are my favorite food.
Now let's move on the speaking test. The speaking test is divided into 3 parts. In the first part of this speaking test, I'm going to ask you some personal questions about visitors. What would you suggest a visitor should see and do in your country?
A visitor must visit Cox's Bazar in my country, which is, I guess, the main tourist spot in the whole Bangladesh. And when they are in Bangladesh, they should also try our Bengali culture, especially our Bangladeshi food. And also they should try wearing Bangladeshi style and our traditional clothes such as sari, 3-piece, that kind of things. And I guess, except for Cox's Bazar, they can also visit St. Martin because it is really, really beautiful and pleasant to everybody, and it helps a lot to remove the monotony.
Well, are there any traditional arts or music you would recommend?
I would definitely recommend the folk songs because, you know, to enjoy a moment, a folk song is the best thing to ever do with friends, cousins, family, or anybody with you if you want. And if I talk about the other songs may not go with every situation, but folk songs is something that you can do every time, everywhere, with everybody. So I guess this is the best, this is something I would definitely recommend.
Tell me about the kind of foreign visitors or tourists who go to your country.
If I talk about some visitors who come to my country, they are most often Indians or people from the South Asia, such as Nepal, Bhutan. They come to experience our culture, Bangladeshi culture, I guess. So I guess they are most likely to be really friendly, as I think that people from the West are most likely to be introverted than people from the Asian countries. So I guess they are really friendly. They love to experience our culture. They love our food. They love everything about us. And I have seen many things. I have noticed a thing that every foreigner tourist always says that Bangladeshi people are so nice. They always have a smile on their face. You know, whenever you look at a stranger, you will always see them smiling towards you. And I guess, yeah, they always have a really good feelings about Bangladesh and they're really friendly. Yeah, that's it.
Well, In what ways has tourism changed your country?
Sorry, I couldn't catch that.
In what ways has tourism changed your country?
Tourism has changed my country a lot. Because of tourism, our country is way more popular in the outside world than before, such as in the you can see any country's tradition, any country's culture online, and from that thing you can gain interest about a country's culture or tradition. So from that thing you can you will gain some interest to visit a country. So I guess for this, many people from the West, East Asia, Africa, and everywhere, people from everywhere are coming to our country, which is making our country more popular. And moreover, the money they're spending on their vacation or their holiday also develops our economy a lot. The tourists, most likely the tourists from foreign most likely to stay in luxurious hotels. So I guess they spend a huge amount of money in there rather than the tourists from Bangladesh spend usually. So I guess this thing, tourism also has a really good effect on our economy.
Okay, that's the end of part 1. Now let's move on part 2. In this part, I'm going to give you a topic and you have to talk on that topic for 2 to 3 minutes. Before you talk, you have 1 minute to think what you're going to say. You can make some notes if you wish. So here is your topic, and here is your pencil, and here is your paper. Your 1 minute time starts now. Your 1 minute time is over. Your 1 minute time is over. You will start now.
Okay, so as my topic was to describe a memorable event in my life, so if I talk about a memorable event, it would definitely be my first visit to Cox's Bazar. It was during the Corona pandemic in October 2020, and it was really exciting and enjoyable to me, as it was my first time visiting the Cox's Bazar, and I obviously love traveling, so it was really great. We had a lot of fun in there, and moreover, there I went there with one of my closest friends, Taji. So I guess that made the event even special, and the visit was really great because I went out of my home after exactly 4 months. I couldn't even see the stairs for the whole 4 months. So when I went to Cox's Bazar, it was really refreshing to me. And as we all were kind of depressed during the Corona pandemic, as we were not able to see our friends, cousins, or family members. So when I was out for the first time during the Corona pandemic, it was really refreshing to me. And as I already said, that one of my closest friends, Taji, went with me to there. It made a great it created a great effect on my event. And this event was really memorable for me because I was really interested about Cox's Bazar before, as I have seen a lot of photos of my parents when they went there for the first time after their marriage, and that thing made me more curious. And I love the sea. I love the peacefulness of the, and I really love the peacefulness of the event. So I think these are the things that made the event really memorable, and I guess also the visit to St. Martin made it more memorable. I mean, I went to St. Martin during my Cox's Bazar tour, and St. Martin is a really great place. I love that place so much that I can never even forget it. Even though I stayed in St. Martin for only 2 hours, that it was not planned before we were leaving for Cox's Bazar, so we didn't have much time to stay in there. And I guess visiting St. Martin and Cox's Bazar with one of my closest friends, Saji, made it really interesting to me. And I guess this is the thing that makes this event really memorable.
Okay, that's the end of part 2. Now let's move to part 3. In this part, I'm going to ask you a few questions about the role of ceremony in our lives. How important are ceremonies in our lives?
They're really important in our lives. In our lives we can socialize with people there, and we can gain a lot of knowledge about our tradition and culture. As you know that in the Asian countries, the Western culture is really effective nowadays. People are most likely to wear the Western clothes than our traditional clothes. So I guess this is why we are really losing our culture and tradition, and I guess ceremonies has a really great effect to recall our tradition and culture. You can also meet your family members, cousins, and also friends in there. So I guess it helps you to socialize a lot, and I guess this is why ceremonies are really important in our lives.
Do you see the role of private and public ceremonies changing in the future?
The rules of private and yeah, of course, it's changing a lot. As I've already mentioned that Western culture has a great effect on our tradition now. So I guess in future it might also be that we are celebrating our even traditional programs just like the foreigners. Such as example, you can say that a lot of weddings are nowadays celebrated just like the Western people. They like to wear white clothes, and the decoration is also like the Western culture. But in our tradition, we are supposed to wear a red sari, and the decoration should also be in our cultural type. So I guess in future we can also see that there is no single wedding or no single ceremony that is celebrated in a tradition or in our culture. So I guess in future both private and public ceremonies can change a lot. Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask you some questions about attitudes to marriage in our country. Have attitudes to marriage changed in recent years?
Yeah, it has changed a lot in recent years. I guess people are more likely to divorce nowadays than before. I guess people chooses freedom a lot over our tradition and culture. This is why they're most likely to divorce after marriage, because if they feel, it's just a true opinion and true opinion of a lot of people in my country also, that even a small argument can lead their relationship into divorce. So I guess this things has changed a lot nowadays, and especially if I talk about taking children, they're most likely to take one children only, which is really different from the past. As I can say that my father, they were literally 7 siblings, but nowadays finding 3 siblings is really hard. Most often there is only single child, or there is one brother and one sister. So I guess it has changed a lot.
In what ways do men and women feel different about marriage, in your opinion?
Men and women obviously have different opinions on marriage, such as when a man gets married, the most traditional men, who are from the village, or who is in really a traditional life, they expect their spouse, their bride or wife, to be really responsible towards towards the family. I think they expect their wives to be a housewife mostly, and they expect their wives to take care of their children, take care of the family, and also take care of the parents also. But if I talk about if I talk about women's opinions on marriage, they actually look for somebody. They actually look for somebody who is really, who is really loyal, trustable, and also who would be able to who will be able to treat her in a comfortable way. To be honest, most of the women find a rich guy to marry nowadays so that they can live a really peaceful and comfortable life. And I guess this makes a huge difference between men's and women's opinion on marriage. Yeah.
Now, I'm going to ask you some questions about events of national and global significance. What sort of national events make headlines in your country?
The national events, it can be the 25th of March, which is celebrated in every city, in every what can I say, in every city, in every sector in my country. People celebrate it in a huge way, and they enjoy this thing a lot. They most often, the thing they do is they listen to Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's speech from back in 1971, and they celebrate it in many ways. They celebrate sometimes it with music. They sometimes celebrate with speeches of elderly people who was present during the liberation war of our country. And also the 21st of February, people celebrate this day in a really enjoyable way also, because it is the International Mother's Language Day. And in this day, we are most likely to listen to our traditional songs such as Amar Bhai Rokterangana 21 February and many other songs. And they actually, I guess this event, this what can I say, this event is mainly celebrated to get back our Bengali culture. Especially our Bangla language. People nowadays always are in the side of English. They always prefer English. They want their children to speak in English. They want everything to be English. So I guess we are losing our Bangla language also in a way. So I guess celebrating 21st of February is really also important. And these are the events people usually.
Well, does the media in your country pay more attention to global or natural events?
The media of my country pays more attention to global events. Maybe. I'm sorry, I couldn't catch the question. Could you please repeat it?
Of course. Does the media in your country pay more attention to global or national events?
The media in our country pays more attention to the global news or events, because people in my country are really interested about the outside world rather than their own country. And this is why I guess the media chooses to show more news from the outside world to us than our own country's news. Such as if I can say that when Argentina won the World Cup last year in 2022, people knew it more than our cricket matches, and they were more happy about this thing. So I guess this is why, for people's interest, the media of my country is focusing more on the global news than our own country's news. And also sometimes we can see that when the media is showing our country's news, people are not much interested into it, so they just skip our own country's news, and they try to focus more on the global news. I guess these are the main reasons the media of Bangladesh, of my country, is focusing more on the global news rather than our own country's news. Yes.
Well, that's the end of part 3. With this, that is the end of your speaking test. Thank you very much, Samia, for taking this test.